Today is my 60th birthday, and I thank you for all the warm wishes, gifts, and joining with me to celebrate. However, we are here today, in this place, for a much more important celebration. We mark this day as a 15th anniversary victory celebration to the end of the IRF empire. "15 years ago, the most tyrannical and evil of all regimes in Earth history was finally ended in this very room. I know because I was here on that day. I stood over the dead bodies of IRF Emperor Jareth Ark and General of War Horatio Wells. That day meant more to me than I could hope to express in words. And surely not just me alone, but all of us. For it was indeed a victory for the entire world. At last, the 20-year reign of terror under the IRF empire had been put to a stop. A story that I know all too well and one that should never be forgotten. For I saw it all the deaths and losses. I had been there from the beginning of the alliance that would save us all from Emperor Sean Ark's conquering will. That alliance, that unity of humanity against the tyranny of the IRF, is of course the fighting Axis. Many in this room know as I do that the cost of our victory was very high indeed. I am sure there is not a single person in this room that has not experienced a personal loss due to the IRF. For such was the scale of their destructive force to which the world has never seen before, and I pray we will never see again. And so, all know the sacrifices that were made to give back freedom to all the nations of the earth. And all deserve to be remembered. But I would like to take a brief moment to specifically mention those that played a most pivotal role to all of our salvations. Most important of all, even more to whatever efforts may be credited to me, is a very special and courageous woman named Princess Yuna Takehara. For if she had not convinced us that the fighting Axis was the only way to stop the IRF's road to world domination, we would all be suffering in prison or dead in graves right now. But instead, thanks to our most noble and first FA leader, we celebrate freedom that we all can enjoy. But there is one more name that should be remembered and thanked for our current freedom. That man, of course, is Vilius Johansson. For he was the one that led the battle that inflicted a most serious blow to the IRF's blitzkrieg of destruction, death, and conquering. Johansson, with his own hands and sacrifice, justly killed that most vicious of dictators, the first IRF emperor himself, Sean Ark. I remember that day well, too. For on that day, I thought that without Sean Ark, the IRF empire could live and breathe no longer. However, as we all know, yet none of us could have imagined, the war for the freedom of humanity was far from over. Empress Sarah Ark took her husband's place, halting the gift of peace that we all should have been able to claim after Sean Ark's death. Nonetheless, we were not discouraged, and all continued to fight for our lands and peoples. And although stubborn, the fighting Axis was finally able to turn on the offensive and start to bring down the IRF empire. Yet, later, once again, beyond all our imaginings, we could have not known the new terror that Sean Ark's son, Emperor Jareth Ark, would bring back to the world. However, with our strength and unity, as I said at the start, the IRF empire came to an end in this very throne room upon Jareth Ark's death. And so we all stand here today, in this place, not symbolizing a place of controlling tyranny, but instead as a reminder that no matter the scale of destruction and death, we all could triumph over evil. Now, we all know that the Sunrise Palace battle ended the IRF empire, but the IRF remained as a shadowy threat. Even after the official surrender, pockets of IRF terrorists remained and set about causing as much havoc as possible, even in their small numbers. Thus, even though the agreement during the formation of the fighting Axis stated that once the IRF empire was crushed, that all nations would return to their original sovereignties. Back then, all realized that the belief in the IRF still existed even after its crumbling into pieces. And so, all agreed at the time, as I think all now can acknowledge in hindsight, that it was best to keep the fighting Axis as a bulwark against the IRF ever reforming again. Something we have all been vigilant for and fighting against. However, I think it is time to make the two important announcements that you have heard about. I also believe that you will all agree that both these reveals are very good news. And while they still need more work and time to realize, we will be ushering in a new age of human unity and prosperity for all. The first announcement I would like to make is that a project that has been in the works for decades is finally coming to an end that will open a new era for humanity that we are already prepared to face. Most are aware of the history, But even today, we are not sure of all the details. Be that it may, during the outbreak of World War III, for whatever reason in that birthing chaos, a former United States anti-satellite base fired a number of missiles into space that took out some key military satellites for a large number of various nations. Of course, the single missile site would not be able to target and destroy all the satellites that humanity had been launching into space for decades. But enough were destroyed to cause a cascade effect that virtually annihilated all the sats we ever launched. To be sure, the material value was a great loss, and yet, of course, nothing compared to the personal losses we experienced during the war with the IRF. Nevertheless, after the dismantling of the IRF empire and peace restored, we could focus on removing the obstacle to our future. The previously mentioned event created such an impenetrable shield of space garbage that our realization of humanity's true destiny could not be undertaken until all that debris is cleaned up. But I am happy to officially announce that that cleanup program, which has been ongoing for decades now, is almost complete, and we will be able to finally pursue our destiny to the stars. And although clearly no space flights could have taken place until all the junk was cleared, rest assured we did not wait to begin our journey to the stars. 4. We have been researching and constructing a number of spaceships and space-based technologies that are all ready the moment the obstacle to becoming a spacefaring civilization is completely removed. And we shall begin with earnest to begin colonizing our solar system and beyond. Now, the second announcement is tightly connected to the first, and once again, I think you will all agree is equally good news, if not better. Since we will indeed be moving into space, and not just kept trapped on the Earth, in combination with the fact that for the last few years, virtually no IRF activity has occurred. Thus, with no longer needing the name the Fighting Axis, along with representing the new leap in human unity and progress, we shall change our name to the Union of Human Confederation. Since humanity shall be united as brother and sisters from here on.
I love you, Gerald.
For I can tell you all that I can happily report on this 15th victory anniversary to the fall of the IRF empire. I can say with great confidence that not only is the IRF empire now long gone and dead, but the IRF as an underground organization or any kind of threat is not even a whimper.